100 years ago, the galaxy decided Earth didn't belong. The Corellian Concord, a powerful alliance of alien civilizations, voted unanimously to exile humanity from all interstellar affairs. They called humans unstable, dangerous, and too violent to be trusted among peaceful stars. Earth's diplomats were expelled. Trade routes were cut. Wormhole gates were locked. In one cold decision, humanity was cast into the shadows. The exile hit hard. Earth lost contact with its outer colonies. Resources dwindled. Technology fell behind. But humans were stubborn. In silence, they endured. In hiding, they planned. By the year 2491, Earth had changed. Far beyond Pluto, in the cold stretch of the Kuiper Belt, massive stations now floated among ice and rock. They weren't marked on any star maps. Powered by fusion cores and shielded by advanced stealth tech, they served one purpose: to rebuild Earth's strength. Inside them, engineers crafted ships. Soldiers trained in vacuum chambers. And deep at the heart of it all stood Commander Alex Voss. He wasn't born when Earth was exiled, but he lived with its shadow every day. Standing on the observation deck of Station Eos, Alex watched the dark stretch of space before him. Rows of Earth-made warships floated quietly, like sleeping beasts. Their hulls were matte black, designed to vanish into the stars. Their engines were cold for now, but ready. Behind him, holograms flickered to life. Tactical Officer Rana spoke. "Commander, long-range probe in 17 has gone dark." It was tracking Concorde movement near the outer rim of Pluto. Alex didn't flinch. "They destroyed it?" "We believe so." No distress signal. Just silence. That made 3 probes in 2 months. Each one closer to the edge of Earth's hidden territory. "They know we're here," Alex muttered. Rana nodded. "Or they're guessing. Either way, we've stayed quiet too long." Alex turned to the control panel and called up a map of the solar system. Dots lit up, blue for Earth's secret assets, red for Concorde patrols. The red dots were spreading. "Tell Command we moved to Phase 2, he said. Rana looked surprised. "We're initiating contact?" "No, not yet," Alex replied. "But we stopped hiding." He left the observation deck and entered the command hall, where officers stood at attention. Each one had trained in silence, in exile. Now, they waited for his voice. "When I was a boy," Alex began, "my father told me Earth would rise again. I didn't believe him then. I thought we were broken, forgotten. But he was right. We've rebuilt. We've trained. We've prepared for this day." He looked around the room, faces young and old, eyes full of fire. "The Concorde exiled us. They erased our name from their records. But we are still here. And soon, they'll remember who we are." The officers saluted. The quiet hum of the station seemed to grow louder, alive with purpose. As Alex walked through the hangar, engineers loaded weapons onto new generation stealth frigates. Mechs powered up in launch bays. AI drones hovered, scanning systems. All of it, the fleet, the training, the hidden cities in space, was proof of humanity's refusal to stay silent. Back in his quarters, Alex stood by a shelf holding one item, a broken Corellian datapad, scorched in battle years ago. It was a reminder, a symbol. He picked it up, turned it in his hand, and whispered to no one. "They thought we'd die in the dark, but we became the dark." Outside, one of Earth's newest ships, SS Valor, lit up its engines for the first time. A message was being sent. Not to the Concorde. Not yet. To Earth. To its people. The time to rise was coming. The ice fields of Epsilon Prime were quiet again. Once, it had been a thriving colony, a mining outpost built into the frozen crust of a distant moon, orbiting a gas giant light years from Earth. After the exile, the Corellian Concorde cut all wormhole access to the outer colonies. Supplies stopped. Communication failed. And Epsilon Prime was left to die in the cold. But it didn't. The people there adapted. They buried deep into the ice. They recycled everything. They trained, they taught, and they waited. And now, for the first time in almost a century, help was coming. Aboard the SS Vanguard, Commander Alex Voss stood on the bridge, staring at a faded map of Epsilon Prime. Around him, his officers moved with sharp precision. They had made dozens of jumps in the past week, visiting long-lost colonies, delivering aid, and gathering allies in secret. "We have atmospheric scans," said his pilot, Lieutenant Darrow. "Signs of heat signatures underground. Life confirmed." Alex nodded. "Prepare the lander. I want to speak to them myself." Within an hour, the shuttle sliced through the sky of Epsilon Prime and landed near an old, ice-covered dome. Snow whipped across the cracked surface. Alex stepped out in a reinforced suit, his boots sinking into frost. Behind him, a small team of soldiers followed, weapons holstered but ready. Then the hatch opened. From beneath the ice, a group of survivors emerged. Worn clothes, thin faces, but eyes full of fire. Their leader, a tall woman with a scar down her cheek, stepped forward. "You're from Earth?" she asked, voice dry from years of recycled air. Alex took off his helmet. "Yes, and we're not here to rescue you. We're here to bring you back." The woman smiled, slow and cautious. "We never left." Over the next 3 days, Vanguard's crew helped the colony repair power systems, distribute medicine, and update communication arrays. Alex met with the elders, those who still remembered Earth's fall, and shared the truth. Humanity had been preparing quietly and carefully. The reclamation fleet was ready. The time had come to unite the lost children of Earth. Epsilon Prime was the first to answer. Back on station EOS, trouble waited. Rana met Alex the moment he stepped off the shuttle. "We have a problem. One of our supply convoys, Route H-22, was ambushed. 35 crew lost. All cargo destroyed." Alex's face went cold. "Concord. No direct ID," she replied. But the attackers knew exactly where to strike. It wasn't random. Alex walked silently through the corridor, his boots echoing on the metal floor. The fleet had been built in secret, protected by shadows. The only way the enemy could have known their route was if someone had told them. "A traitor," he said aloud. Inside. "Yes," Rana said. "We're running scans now. But we can't delay the next supply run. We're too close to launch." Alex nodded. "Double security. Encrypt all routes. And start tracking who had access to Convoy H-22. He stopped at a large viewport and looked out. The fleet was growing. Dozens of ships, frigates, carriers, interceptors, all powered by Earth's best minds. But even the strongest ship could fall if the enemy knew its movements. He couldn't afford to wait. 3 days later, Alex stood before a crowd in a deep space hangar. Behind him, banners of Earth hung from steel beams. In front of him, men and women from Epsilon Prime, Mars, Europa, and Luna stood in uniform. Colonies long separated now stood side by side. "I won't lie to you," Alex said, voice clear over the speaker. "The Concorde is watching. Some of you have already lost people. So have I." He paused, letting the silence carry weight. "They think we'll break again, that we'll turn on each other. That Exile made us weaker. But they don't understand what Exile did to us." He looked into the faces before him. Some were young. Some were older than the Exile itself. It made us harder. It made us smarter. And it made us one. A cheer rose, low at first, then loud and full. Behind the cheers, a silent storm was forming. Chancellor Vorix had received reports of Earth's growing movements. He had dismissed them at first, calling them dust from a dying planet. But the dust was becoming a wave, and waves crash hard. That night, as Alex reviewed fleet plans in his quarters, Rana entered with new intel. "We found the leak." A systems analyst. Earthborn, but Concorde trained. He passed route logs through a maintenance drone. Alex sighed. "Execute him?" "No. We captured him. He wants to speak with you." Alex stood. "Fine. I'll speak with him. But only once. No trials. No speeches. Just truth. Because in war, truth was a weapon." Outside the station, in the cold silence of deep space, the ships of Earth's new fleet activated one by one. Blue engines glowed like stars. Turrets rotated. Shields hummed to life. The storm was coming, and Earth was no longer hiding. The silence was over. For almost 100 years, Earth had stayed in the shadows, rebuilding its strength in secret. Now, for the first time since Exile, its warships moved beyond the Sol system. The SS Valor, flanked by 2 stealth frigates, crossed into neutral space near the Orion trade belt. Their mission: protect a civilian mining station under threat from raiders. But Alex Voss knew this mission wasn't just about helping miners. It was about sending a message. "We're crossing the Concorde border," said Lieutenant Darrow from the helm. "Good," Alex replied. "Let them see us." The screen ahead flickered with live visuals, asteroid clusters floating in the black, glowing lights from the mining station, and radar blips showing 2 incoming ships. The raiders weren't subtle. They had Concorde-grade weapons but no official tags. Pirates, maybe. Or Concorde proxies. Alex had seen this game before. Shields up. Lock weapons, but don't fire unless they do first. As the Valor closed in, the enemy ships opened fire without warning. Bright plasma bolts streaked across the void, striking the Valor's shields. "Evasive pattern Omega 1, Alex ordered. The bridge lit up with quiet chaos, orders shouted. hands flying over consoles, alarms flashing. The SS Phantom, a flanking stealth frigate, decloaked and returned fire with precision blasts. Within seconds, one pirate ship was disabled. The other tried to flee but was tracked and disabled with a clean ion burst. "Target neutralized," said Tactical Officer Rana. "No survivors on the first ship. Second one, life signs faint. We're getting a signal." "Patch it through," Alex said. A weak voice crackled through the comms. "You don't belong here. Concord will erase you." Alex leaned forward. "Tell them we're not asking for space. We're taking it." Then he cut the line. The rescue operation at the mining station was quick. The workers, mostly independent traders from mixed species, had never seen a human warship before. They watched with quiet fear as Alex and his soldiers secured the area. One of the miners, a reptilian trader with cracked armor, stepped forward. "You're from Earth." "Yes," Alex said plainly. "They said Earth was gone. That you were broken." Alex glanced up at the stars. "We were never gone. Just quiet." The trader gave a slow nod. "You helped us. Others will hear of this." Alex nodded once, then returned to the ship. Hours later, the galaxy heard everything. The footage of Earth ships in neutral space, defeating Concord-backed raiders, spread fast across the networks. Small systems and outer colonies, long ignored by the Concord, began whispering about Earth's return. Some called them foolish. Others called them brave. But no one could deny this. Earth was back. In the Concord capital on Istral 5, Chancellor Vorix sat in silence as the footage played in his private chamber. He watched Alex's face on the screen. Calm. Confident. A threat. "Who authorized this broadcast?" Vorix demanded. An aide stammered. "It's viral. No way to contain it now." Vorix's eyes narrowed. "Then we give them a warning they won't forget." Back on Station Eos, Alex stood in the war room, surrounded by his officers. A massive display showed Concord fleet movements along the border. New patrols. Larger ships. Aggressive shifts. "They've seen us," Rana said. "And they're responding." "Let them," Alex said. "It's time we stop pretending we need their permission." He activated the main channel, one that could reach every colony, every ally, every hidden outpost still loyal to Earth. The message was short, measured, but powerful. To the people of the stars. "This is Commander Alex Voss of Earth. A century ago, we were exiled. We were cut off. Forgotten. But we never stopped surviving. We never stopped building. And now we are returning not as exiles, but as equals. We do not seek revenge. We seek respect. But if they try to cage us again, we will not go quietly." The message ended. Across human colonies, people stood taller. In Concord command centers, alarms sounded. In backroom meetings across the galaxy, leaders whispered new calculations. Earth had drawn a line, and now everyone had to choose a side. Later that night, alone in his quarters, Alex stared at an old photo, a faded picture of his parents, smiling on Earth before the exile. His father had died on Mars during a Concord skirmish. His mother had helped design the first cloaking drive. They had believed in this moment. He had to carry it forward. A soft chime echoed from the wall. A new report. Concord warships were moving toward the asteroid colonies. "They're not wasting time," Rana said when she entered. "They're preparing for war." Alex stood, straightening his coat. "So are we." Far outside the solar system, Earth's second fleet, hidden deep near Neptune, began powering up. No more shadows. Only stars and fire. The war had begun. There were no formal declarations. No grand speeches in Concord chambers. Only movement, fleets shifting, engines igniting, and weapons charging. In the cold stretch of Saturn's orbit, the silence broke as beams of blue plasma lit up space. The Concord's first assault fleet, led by the dread cruiser Virex, attacked Earth's mining outpost without warning. Civilian structures were vaporized. Automated defense satellites tried to return fire, but the attackers came too fast and too strong. By the time the message reached Station Eos, hundreds were dead. Commander Alex Voss stood in the command dome, jaw tight, eyes fixed on the holomap. Saturn's outer ring blinked red. Casualty reports scrolled beside it. Anger churned inside him, cold and steady. "We predicted this," Rana said, standing at his side. "Yes," Alex answered. "Now we show them what we've built." The Earth Reclamation Fleet launched in full for the first time. Frigates, carriers, and heavy gunships poured out of stealth bays hidden within asteroids. Swarms of AI-guided drones followed, flying in coordinated formations. Their hulls were lined with adaptive plating that shifted color, making them near invisible until they struck. Alex led the fleet from the ESS Aegis, Earth's command carrier. His voice echoed across all channels. "This is Commander Voss. The Concorde attacked civilians. They showed us who they are. Now we show them who we've become." His words were calm, steady, but behind them was fury, sharpened over a century of exile. The first clash happened near the rings of Saturn. Concorde warships floated like blades of black metal. Their formations were tight, their movement efficient. They had numbers. They had experience. But Earth had something else: unpredictability. The Phantom Wing, Earth's stealth strike squad, appeared behind the Concorde fleet. They decloaked in perfect sync and launched precision torpedoes. One Concorde frigate exploded instantly. Another's engine core went critical and shattered its hull. Panic spread through the enemy formation. "They weren't expecting stealth strikes," Rana said. "They don't know how we fight," Alex replied. He gave the next order. "Engage full spread. Drone wings, flank pattern delta. Push them back." The battlefield lit up with bursts of plasma, missile trails, and the hum of shield impacts. The Aegis, Earth's command ship, held its position like a fortress, launching squadrons and managing long-range bombardments. Below, the shattered remains of mining platforms floated like ghosts. In the chaos, Alex noticed a movement. One of the Concorde cruisers broke formation and started pulling back toward the edge of the ring field. "They're trying to retreat," Rana said. "Don't let them," Alex answered. "We don't leave survivors to carry warnings. This is not a message they send. This is one they receive." The fleet pushed forward, and in less than 20 minutes, the battle was over. 7 Concorde ships destroyed, 2 captured, 0 losses on Earth's side. Inside the ESS Aegis, Alex stepped into the debrief chamber. Screens around him showed images of the destroyed outposts. Floating wreckage. Civilian bodies. Fire still burning in the void. "This wasn't just a strike," he said. "It was meant to send fear." "But they failed," Rana replied. "No," Alex corrected. "They succeeded, just not in the way they hoped. I am angry. And I want every captain in this fleet to feel the same. Cold. Focused. Controlled. But angry." He turned to the tactical screen. "We move now. Not back to Eos. Not to hide. We go forward." "Where?" Alex pointed to the map, one red dot deep in the neutral zone. "A Concorde supply base. We hit them where it hurts." Meanwhile, in the capital city of Istral, 5, Chancellor Vorax stood in front of his war council. A massive screen played footage of Earth ships tearing through his fleet. "This is what comes from leaving animals in the wild," he hissed. "They've grown stronger than we thought," one general said. Vorax stared him down. "No, they've grown arrogant. But arrogance can be crushed." He walked to a command terminal and activated a hidden file. Project, Skyhammer. Status, active. Location, deep orbit. Target, Earth. "If they want war," Vorax said, "we will burn their sky." Back in the Sol system, Earth's reclamation fleet continued pushing forward. Small colonies began to reach out, independent worlds, forgotten outposts, even some alien traders. They had all lived under the Concorde's control. Now they watched Earth fight back and began to see another path. "We're being contacted," Rana told Alex. 3 colonies asking for protection. Not just humans, aliens, too. Alex allowed himself a small nod. They're not just watching anymore. They're choosing. He looked out at the stars. But we're not finished. The war had only begun. Blood had been spilled. Lines had been crossed. And deep in Concorde space, something darker was on its way. The fire in the void was spreading. The stars over Earth had not seen war in over a century. For generations, the planet had rebuilt in silence. Cities had grown green again. Orbiting platforms monitored space quietly. The people below lived in peace, unaware that death was now racing toward them at light speed. Chancellor Vorax had made his move. Project Skyhammer, a Concorde dreadnought group equipped with a planetary kinetic bombardment system, was on its way to Earth. It was not meant to fight a fleet. It was meant to erase a planet. When the early warning systems lit up at Station Eos, there was no confusion. Only purpose. Commander Alex Voss stood on the central bridge of the ESS Aegis, staring at the tactical screen. It showed 3 massive Concorde dreadnoughts breaking from stealth near the edge of Earth's gravity well. Their weapons were already charging. "They're not coming to fight," said Rana, voice low. "They're coming to finish us." Alex nodded once. "Then we make them bleed for every meter." Orders went out fast. From lunar defense rings to orbital rail guns, every available weapon was activated. Civilian traffic was grounded. Earth's population was told to shelter underground. Across the Sol system, Earth's fleet raced back from outer sectors. Every ship, drone, and fighter was recalled. Within hours, the sky above Earth lit up like a storm. The first wave of Earth's reclamation fleet met the Concorde dreadnoughts near high orbit. The enemy ships were vast, kilometers long, plated in neutron armor, bristling with weapons that could melt mountains. Their flanks were covered in escort cruisers and interceptor drones. Alex stood at the command table inside the Aegis. Target the dreadnought's main weapon arrays. Don't aim to disable, aim to destroy. Rana looked at the readings. Their main kinetic cannon is charging. It can hit the surface in under a minute. Alex didn't hesitate. Launch all stealth drones. EMP strike pattern. Now. The void erupted in fire. Dozens of cloaked drones raced forward, slipping between Concorde defenses. They carried short-range EMP warheads designed to fry enemy sensors and weapon controls. One by one, they detonated near the lead dreadnought, blinding its targeting systems. Direct hit, said Tactical Officer Baron. Their cannon is offline, temporarily. Buy me more time, Alex ordered. The SS Phalanx, Earth's heavy gunship, moved in to target the dreadnought's exposed core. It fired a full salvo of plasma torpedoes, breaking through the shields and tearing a hole in the hull. But the retaliation was brutal. The Phalanx was destroyed in seconds. Multiple ships down, Baron reported. They're hitting us harder than we can hold. Alex's voice remained calm. We keep going. Far below, on the surface of Earth, people waited. In the cities, underground bunkers were filled with families. Children listened to the distant rumble of defense cannons firing into the sky. Some prayed. Others waited in silence. In a shelter beneath New Geneva, an old woman looked up at the ceiling and whispered, "We came so far." And above her, in the black sky, humanity was still fighting. The battle raged for hours. Earth's forces were bleeding, losing ships, pilots, and ground stations, but they didn't stop. Every time a Concorde cruiser advanced, it was met with coordinated fire from Earth's satellites and interceptors. The orbital ring known as Shield Line 7 took down 2 Concorde destroyers before it fell in flames. Inside the Aegis, damage reports piled in. Hull breach in Deck 5. Shields at 20%. Secondary cannon offline. Alex gripped the railing. His uniform was torn, and a deep gash bled down one arm. But his voice was steady. We hold the line. No matter what. Then finally, a break. The lead dreadnought's main reactor began to overheat. Its shielding had failed after a full hour of pressure from Earth's combined firepower. Baron shouted across the bridge, "Their core is unstable." Alex stepped forward. Targeted. All ships. Focus fire now. From orbit, a dozen plasma bolts and torpedoes slammed into the weakened dreadnought. The explosion that followed shook the upper atmosphere. Fire rained down through the clouds. One down, Rana whispered. 2 more, Alex answered. The second dreadnought began retreating. Seeing the fall of its counterpart, its escort ships tried to form a defensive wall. But Earth's stealth wing, now operating with almost no support, cut through the gaps. They struck the second ship's engine array, forcing it into a slow spin. The SS Hammerfall, a frigate-class ship on its final run, rammed the weakened dreadnought at full speed. Both ships vanished in a white-hot blast. 2 down. The last Concorde dreadnought held position. It didn't retreat. It turned toward Earth and began charging its cannon for one final shot. Alex saw the readings. They're aiming at the surface. Rana's voice was tight. We have 30 seconds. Alex looked at the fleet. Wrecked. Half gone. But still standing. He tapped into the comm system. All ships, listen to me. This is it. Everything we fought for, comes down to this moment. Hit them with everything you have. If we fail, we fall. If we win, we rise forever. Across the fleet, captains acknowledged. Weapons charged. Engines flared. Earth fired. The final dreadnought took hundreds of impacts in its last seconds. Its cannon never finished charging. As its core destabilized, it let out one final burst of light, then cracked apart, its pieces swallowed by Earth's gravity. Silence returned to the sky. The siege was over. Inside the Aegis, the crew sat in shock. Burned. Exhausted. Alive. Alex walked through the wreckage of the bridge. Sparks fell from the ceiling. The lights flickered. Rana approached. Her face was bruised, uniform torn, but her eyes were clear. They're gone. Alex didn't speak right away. He simply nodded. Then, for the first time in 100 years, Earth sent a message not in fear, but in strength. To the stars. Earth stands. The Concord came to erase us. We are still here. Across the galaxy, billions watched the broadcast. And for the first time, they didn't see exiles. They saw something else. A rising empire. The smoke over Earth had faded, but its message lingered across the galaxy. The wreckage of 3 Concord dreadnoughts still drifted in orbit, silent reminders of what had happened. The greatest power in the galaxy had come to crush Earth and failed. And in that failure, everything changed. Across the stars, broadcast repeated the same scenes. Earth ships holding the line, Concord warships exploding in fire, and the quiet voice of Commander Alex Voss declaring, "Earth stands. We are still here." But the real war was no longer one of weapons. Now it was a war of influence, of alliances, of fear and hope. And Earth was winning. Inside the command hall of Station EOS, Alex Voss stood before a gathered crowd of representatives, humans from across the Sol system, and now, for the first time, envoys from alien worlds. The Varelians, once close allies of the Concord, had sent a delegation. So had the Drenari, a trade species known for their neutrality. Even the Tharn, whose history with humans was filled with tension, sent a silent observer. Alex didn't wear his uniform that day. He stood in simple dark clothes, no medals, no symbols of rank. His voice was steady. "We don't claim victory for pride," he said. "We claim it for peace." The Concord ruled through fear. They chose exile over dialogue. "We won't repeat their mistakes." He paused, then added, "But let no one doubt this. If Earth is threatened again, we will defend it. We are not what we were 100 years ago. We are something new." Around the hall, quiet nods followed. The message was received. In the following weeks, Earth's fleet moved into defensive positions, not as conquerors, but as protectors. Mining colonies once forgotten were rebuilt with new supplies. Orbital cities on Mars and Europa received reinforcements. Human scientists worked with alien engineers to repair damage caused during the war. Trade routes reopened, this time with Earth at the center. But not everyone welcomed the change. On Istral 5, Chancellor Vorix had vanished. Some said he was dead. Others believed he had gone underground, planning a future strike. The Concord was fractured, its member species divided between those who wanted to punish Earth and those who wanted peace. But none dared attack again. Fear had once surrounded the name human. Now it was respect. In a private chamber aboard the ESS Aegis, Alex sat alone. He stared at a hollow map of the galaxy, watching new communications appear across sectors. Messages from outer systems requesting alliance. Colonies once silent now asked to join Earth's news circle. He rubbed his eyes. "You look tired," said Rana as she entered, holding a data pad. Alex looked up with a faint smile. "Feels like I've aged 10 years in 10 days. "You probably have," she said, sitting beside him. "But it's done. We held the line. The galaxy heard us." Alex leaned back. "I didn't think we'd survive the last battle, when that cannon was charging." "But we did," Rana interrupted. "Because we fought together. You made us believe we could win. And we did." He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "They offered me something." Rana raised an eyebrow. "What?" "A title. Emperor of Earth." Her face didn't change. "And?" I said no. She smiled. "Good. You're already leading. No crown needed." Alex stood and walked to the wide viewport. Below, Earth rotated in silence, blue, green, alive. No more hiding. No more shame. Just the world, reborn. In the weeks that followed, a new council was formed, the unified sectors pact. Earth would not rule it. It would host it, welcoming any species or colony that wanted peace and equality. No high seats. No exile powers. One voice per world. The Corellian Concord did not join, but others did. The Drenari. The Varelians. Rogue human colonies once lost to the stars. Even factions within the Concord quietly opened channels, sensing the shift in power. Earth, the exiled planet, had become a beacon. Back on Earth, in a quiet park overlooking a memorial to the fallen, Alex visited the names etched in stone. Names of soldiers, engineers, civilians. His own father's name was among them. He stood in silence, hand on the stone. "They exiled us to silence us," he whispered. "They made us small to make themselves feel large." Then he turned away. "We're not small anymore." The galaxy watched. What began as an exile had become a spark. What was meant to break Earth only hardened its will. And in that fire, something stronger was born, not an empire of dominance, but one of resilience, unity, and strength. Humans did not just return. They rose.